Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Women's Wellness Network. Today we have lovely Jennifer Burton, Halliburton with us today. And you go by Jenn, yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So she's from the Awaken Jenn Tarot over on YouTube. She has a channel there, which is really fun and interesting to follow along. So I'm going to just let Jenn introduce herself. And Jenn, could you tell us where you are in the world and a little bit about what you do?
All right. Well, I live in Tennessee, just south of Nashville, and I am a mom of four. Um, a little bit about what I do. Right now, I have three jobs, so I'm spread very thin. I work for a real estate office Tuesday through Friday, and then I also work for Soulful Revolution TV as an admin assistant on the side as well. And then I have the Awakened Gen Tarot. That's my own thing. That's just my personal passion that I've been doing. And that usually gets on the weekends. So like I'm nonstop, nonstop.
Always doing something, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your background, like how you got into tarot to begin with?
So I went through a spiritual awakening in 2021 that completely shifted everything that I thought I believed about my life. So the majority of my adult life, I've been, strict Christianity, which is what we were talking about. And, I was that person. Every time the doors open, I was there. I served in all kinds of ways for my church. And so to see this for my path, this was not something that I ever saw. Because from the Christianity, I wouldn't even let myself look at this stuff. Like I just because of the message that gets sent through Christianity is that this is evil, but what I have seen since is that everything gets used positive or negative, that there is a positive aspect for this and a negative aspect for it, and it's how I choose to use it, and I'm using it for the side of the light. um but like I said, before I had the awakening, I was just too much in that programming of, what the religious structure tells you, that I wouldn't even let myself look at it. So the awakening happened very spontaneously. And so Soulful Revolution, MJ, was part of that experience for me. She started popping up on my YouTube. Like I wasn't searching tarot or anything like that. She started popping up, and just this one day, I just allowed myself to listen. And it was like she was talking directly to me about the things that I was experiencing on a soul level that I could not deny. And from that, I went into like a trance state, that when I'm talking about my spiritual awakening, this is what I'm talking about, this moment right here. And it was just like the whole knowledge of the universe all opened up to me all at once. And I mean, it sounds insane when you say that to people who haven't experienced it. But when you have an experience like that you cannot deny, I mean, like, it's easy to shift your beliefs after that because, okay, I'm following you, God. I'm like, just everything he opened up from there, I'm following him. And so that's where it started, was just that connection that she spoke to my soul on that day, that it opened up that whole new world to me.
And is that when you became you decided you wanted to do the certification and stuff, or did you
Well,
start
okay,
other?
so um I sort of just kind of secretly got into the tarot. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to understand, how does that work? Why do those cards make sense, to my life? And so my first tarot was, I just got some index cards and I wrote the short meanings on them. And it was almost like flashcards for me, is that I would just kind of pull it out and I was just only focused on, this is the meaning of this card. And so I was just kind of growing from there. I took her Wisdom of the Tarot course that just teaches you how to read tarot. And I was just growing solo from there. I knew that I wanted to teach and share with others, but I didn't know like what. That calling had been there for a long time. And so in September of 22, I decided I was going to start working on my throat chakra. So I started my YouTube channel, and it wasn't supposed to be a public thing. Like, it was supposed to be I am getting used to speaking. I'm getting used to seeing myself on camera. That, um, and so like it was all just kind of slowly developing. There wasn't like a one moment thing where I knew like this is what I'm doing with my life. I just kept following the little paths that kept opening up for me. And so when I started doing the YouTube videos, just every day I would do a video. I didn't have anything to talk about. So that's when I brought the cards in to give me something to talk about. And then I realized, okay, these messages are actually good. Even if I'm not good, the messages are actually standing for themselves. So somebody might need this. That's just how that all, opened up from there. And the passion just kept pulling me on this path. And I was running a barber shop at that same time, had no passion in that.
Oh.
It was just I liked getting to have my own business, getting to set my own hours, all of that stuff, but I had no passion in that industry. So I made the decision in November of 22 to sell the barbershop and just pursue my own passions, but I didn't even know what that was. And that same month, MJ announced the tarot certification. And it was just like, there we go. Like it just opened up. And so that started in January of 2023. And that was my whole focus last year, is just getting through that. So
And look at you
I hope that
now.
answered your question. I know, like I really have grown, a lot just from all of that.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, MJ, super awesome. She was also my introduction to tarot, and I
Yeah.
was going through some physical illness challenges at that time. So I was spending a lot of time in bed, and being able to find somebody and connect with them, um, and really understanding how she speaks and all that stuff just lit me up. And I'm like, oh, I need to know more about this. And then, of course, eventually I found you. Um, so when you started on this journey, on this, when you finally decided, okay, I'm going to do tarot, did you have a lot of backlash in your life outside of your home?
Um, so I had built my whole life around my Christian identity. So all of my friends were part of, my church experience. I knew they were not going to understand or accept this. And I wasn't going to force it on them because I know where I was at in that same space before it had, like, I knew if anybody else had said this to me, I wouldn't have believed it. It only could have come from God for me to be able to open up like that. So I'm not going to force that on people who are not ready for that. So I created all new social media um, in March of last year to reintroduce myself as this, in this space, as not the Christian based. And like, that's really hard for me to like pull from because I still am so connected, to Jesus, like he's been just my guide my entire life. So, and like that was in my awakening, the first thing that was brought to me is that I did not have to give up Jesus. Like that was like huge for me because I don't even know how. I don't even know how. It was just my understanding had to change of the way that, of his impact on our lives. But um so yeah, I created all new social media and I just allowed whoever wanted to be a part of this new life to be a part of it. And I had some surprising ones that came with me, and I had some that definitely chose not to come with me. And like one of the biggest surprises of choosing this path, I was going to go to a counselor that I went to years ago, and I highly admired this counselor. And I have sent many people to this counselor. And when I went, it was just a couple of months ago, they refused me service because of the tarot. Yeah, because it's demonic and messing with dark stuff. So they refused to treat me, to work with me because
Wow.
of my choice to do tarot, which I didn't expect that, but that was, it is a consequence of choosing this lifestyle is that there are people whose minds are that shut off, to even looking at it.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that must have been very difficult. Like,
Yeah.
Your whole existence like flips right upside down, right? And
Well, I went to a funeral last year, and I remember sitting there thinking, the things they're saying about this woman, they will not be saying about me. They were just, praising her, for her Christian walk, for her, work in the church, all of that. Her value came completely from who she was as a Christian. And I'm like, if that's where the value comes from, I've lost all of my value now. Like the world is going to look at me as though I'm not as good as I was when I was strictly Christian. And that's hard. I mean, it's hard to choose that path and know that that's how you're being viewed.
right. But you got to go with your own heart,
And
right?
well, yeah, because I know that that's not the truth.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I see, those people, they're I feel a little bit sad for them because they're not allowing, right, something that could be wonderful for them. And also they're excluding you, who seems like you're such a beautiful human. Like they're the ones that are missing out. So eventually, they're either going to come around or somebody's going to be saying when, they're knocking on the door, remember this?
Well, I will say, my boyfriend, when I was going through it, and that's got to be hard to be in a relationship with somebody who has this level of a change in the relationship. Um, my cat is going nuts right now. I don't know if you can hear that. But he, do you want me? Hold on, I can.
No, no, it's
Okay.
awesome.
Um, his first reaction was that if this was what I was going to choose, that he couldn't be with me because now we were unequally yoked and I wasn't going to go to heaven. I mean, he literally thought I was not going to heaven.
Oh,
And how am I going to be with somebody who, I I know is not aligned with me, spiritually. Like it was a lot. But he's come around. Like I had to hide this part of my life from him for quite a while, even though like I was gonna choose the path. I knew that if he wasn't ready for it, like that if I showed it before he was ready for it, he was going to leave. But he has come around. Like I don't know what the shift was for him. He says that a lot of times it was just kind of hearing me over and over. The messages that are coming out in these cards are not the demonic messages that we've sort of been led to believe that you're going to get from this. He heard me talking about angels and talking about God and still bringing in that into my readings. And I think that that was the shift, maybe. But it was harsh. It was harsh at first. Like he thought, well, even when I told him about the awakening experience, um, he thought I lost my mind. And I actually did end up, my mom forced me to go to the hospital.
oh,
Yeah. I mean, it was an intense. I had a very intense awakening experience. And the hospital couldn't find anything wrong. And so I have a paper that says psychosis on it. But I mean, they only kept me for a couple of hours. If they were really concerned, they would have put me away, which is what my boyfriend was saying was going to happen to me.
good.
It's like, if you speak this stuff out loud, they're going to lock you away because the stuff I was saying was crazy.
I'm so glad it's
So
not that way now.
yeah, I mean but that's what we're up against. When you wake up, not everybody around you is awake yet, and that's what you're up against. Is it? I mean, it's fear.
Yeah.
It's fear.
Totally, totally it is. Totally it is. Okay, there's going to be some people who are watching on the Women's Wellness Network who might not really even know what tarot is. Could you just give them just a little brief description of what you do?
Okay. Well, so tarot. How do I want to describe this? Um, this one is put me on the spot.
Sorry, Jen.
It is it's a tool. It's the tool that I use. So for me, it's like it's the second part of prayer. So like I'm asking God my question, I'm asking the angels my questions, and tarot for me is how I'm receiving the answers. So they all have with tarot, they all have each card represents a certain thing. So no matter what tarot deck you get, all the cards are going to have the same meanings. They'll have different pictures that can give you different stories, but with the tarot, all the cards are going to, have sort of the same basic meanings. I also use oracles. Oracles do not have that same basic meanings. They just have different themes. Um, I don't think I'm explaining this well.
It's yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because a lot of people have no clue. They know their cards and that's all they know.
But it has the four suits in it, but then there's also the major arcana and the minor arcana. The minor arcana are the ones that have the suits. The major arcana, those are like the big life events that we go through. And the minor arcana is like the day-to-day stuff. I don't know how to answer that
You
question.
know what? That's perfect. That's perfect. You answered it perfect. Yes, because a lot of people just it's cards to them and they know they shouldn't touch them or go near them and they have no understanding. And right now we know it's a card deck. It has different levels of things that you can pull from, um, and you make a story out of it, and that gives you your answer.
So, okay, I do want to say every spread for me is like a timeline. It's a potential timeline. So, one thing that I want to be clear about, I don't tell you your future.
Mhm.
I tell you, like, here's the path that you're on. And if you stay on this path and nothing changes, this is where it's leading to. But just by getting told that information, you might make a different choice now and change, the outcome. So, like, I'm showing you what timeline you are on right here. And now that's going to give you, the opportunity. Do I want to keep going on this path or do I need to make changes? So, I mean, it's really meant to be an empowering tool, not something that says, this is what's coming at you and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, that's the difference of what I really want people to know when they work with me is I'm not telling you, like, here's what's happening to you. We're working together to get you where you want to go.
Right. You kind of you like experience the energies and you work a little bit with astrology also, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that you help people decipher themselves maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome. So on your channel, as you were saying, you have a couple new different things coming up. Can you just give us those options for people?
Yeah. So I just started two new focus groups. So depending on if you want to focus on the spiritual path or the twin flame mission, because that's sort of like who I tend to deal with. And so for the Jenn's inner circle, that's focusing on the spiritual path. I'm going to start doing a monthly live session with this group. It's a 90-minute. I'll pull cards. I'll do a collective reading for everyone, and then we'll do a Q&A session. And so, like, if they have questions they want me to pull cards for, I can do it right there in that session. This is going to be probably the cheapest way to get a reading with me is to connect in this group. And so you also, with that, I am I'm doing zodiac readings that you can buy them individually, but you'll get them for free as part of this package. And then I have the Twin Sisters membership. So that's the one that's focused on the twin flame. It's for the divine feminines. Like what I notice a lot in my readings is I have a lot of feminines that feel like that they can't start their mission until they're in union. You're in union the minute that you realize that you were, on that twin flame path. I mean, like, and so that's what I wanted to try to connect those people together and let them see, like, the more time that we're spending focused on that person outside of us, we're pushing back the mission. Like the mission is here, it's now, and it's on us. So with that, there's also going to be a 90-minute live session as well for that group as well. I'm going to do a twin flame reading that will go along with the videos that they'll get with that package too.
Okay.
So,
And besides that, there's your free offering that
and
you have on
yeah,
Saturdays.
so I do a weekly energy forecast on my YouTube channel. That's Saturdays at 11. And then I do offer private readings. I have different levels now. That's part of what's changed. So through the memberships, you can get a 25% discount on my written messages. So that's anything that's not going through Soulful Revolution, you can get a 25% discount. And so I will do either a channeled message. So it's one question. I'll just take it to my guides and do a channeled written message for you. I can do a written tarot reading for you. Again, that's going to be just one question though, for that. Or we can do a Zoom session. It's a 50-minute Zoom session, and you get lots of questions in that time frame. So
Okay,
there's
awesome.
lots of ways to connect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yes. And we'll make sure you put all your information in the comments afterwards so that people can connect with you because,
Thank you.
well, not only is it fun, but it's practical. I think like it's a really awesome healing tool. And I've
It
used that
is.
for my healing journey. And
It is.
yes,
It's a good therapy because it helps you to look at your own situations, on that deeper level that like we tend to look at everything just on that surface level. This takes it way deeper and helps you to see it to its core. I think that that's why it has, like really grown in just since the pandemic.
mhm,
I feel like that a lot of people have done that self-reflection and they're looking for tools now, anything that can help them go deeper.
absolutely. Yes, I totally agree with you. That put everybody on online, and maybe that's they started noticing that that was
Yeah.
available. It was a thing. And like you
Well, I
said,
like learning from people who have the real experience, not
hmm,
the ones who can just tell you what they learned about it. I want the ones who actually experienced it.
absolutely. Yes, right. And I love how you came in contact with MJ. Like it just she just appeared on your screen, and that's
Just popped
yeah,
up. Yeah.
that's the universe, right? I call it Gus, so God, universe, spirit. So yeah,
I used to call things like that God winks before I learned the term synchronicity,
oh yes, cool.
but where God's just like, here you go. I
Right,
see
here's a
you.
little nugget. Are you paying attention? Because if you're not paying
Yeah.
attention, then you miss it.
You miss it. Yep.
Totally miss it. Well, that's awesome. So do you have anything else you'd like to share with us before we sign off?
No, I just appreciate so much that you thought enough of me to even bring me onto this show. And I love what I didn't even know you were doing this. So this is amazing.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, now you have to join and, hang out a little bit and see who else. And if you have
Yeah,
anybody interesting that you might want to suggest that we bring on for an interview, then
definitely do that.
definitely we would
Yes.
love to do that. Yeah, for sure. So
All
yeah,
right.
anybody watching today, um, thank you for being here. But if you want to connect with Jenn, we'll put the information in the comments. And yeah, you never know, maybe she has some interesting messages for you. So thank you very much, Jenn, for coming. And hopefully we'll have you again sometime.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah, and happy birthday.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
Well, you didn't have to go.